Speaking thus, Venus threw herself upon Psyche, tore her dress, ripped out her hair, and beat her savagely, shaking her by the head. Then she had wheat, barley, millet, poppy seeds, chickpeas, lentils, and beans brought to her. She mixed them all together into a great heap and, turning to Psyche, said,
"You seem to me such an ugly slave that you can win the favor of your lovers only through small services requiring extreme patience. Well, I too wish to test your skill. You must sort out the seeds of each species from this confused mass. Separate them and arrange them, dividing them into little heaps one by one, and have the work finished for me before evening."
Having thus spoken, she left her before that great heap of seeds and went off to a wedding feast. Psyche, faced with that inextricable mass of seeds, did not even have the courage to put her hands to it. Dismayed by the enormity of the task before her, she remained there stunned like a fool. Then a tiny ant who kept her little house in the fields, knowing how grievous that labor was, and filled with compassion for the misfortunes befallen the companion of the great god, blaming the cruelty of her mother-in-law, set about gathering all the swarms of ants that inhabited that land, saying,
"Have pity, industrious daughters of Mother Earth, have pity and run quickly to aid this beautiful girl in danger, who is the wife of Love."
And behold, in successive waves, the swarms of that six-legged people came rushing one after another, and putting all their effort into it. They divided grain by grain, the entire heap of seeds, separating and distributing all the species in order. Then they hurried away. At nightfall, Venus returned from the wedding feast, half drunk, all perfumed and crowned with splendid roses. She saw the extraordinary diligence of that work and exclaimed,
"You wretched criminal! This work is not your doing, and certainly not the work of your hands. He whom you pleased must have had a hand in this, to your ruin, or rather to his."
Saying this, she threw a crust of bread to Psyche and went off to sleep. Meanwhile, Cupid remained all alone, locked and under guard in an isolated room within the house, both so that he would not aggravate his wound with his unbridled intemperance, and so that he could not meet with his beloved. And so the two lovers spent a most sorrowful night, divided and separated beneath the same roof. But as soon as Aurora drove forward her chariot, Venus had Psyche summoned and said to her,
"Do you see that forest that stretches along the banks of that river, whose lower shrubs are mirrored in the water nearby? There graze, without guard, splendid sheep, whose fleece is golden. I wish you to bring me from there as soon as possible, in whatever way you can manage it, a tuft of that precious fleece's wool."
Psyche set out at once, not so much to obey the command received as to find at last some respite from her suffering by throwing herself from the cliff into the river. But from there, a green reed, that slender player of the sweetest music, rising from the river, divinely inspired by the gentle murmur of a soft breeze, warned her in this manner.
"Psyche, persecuted by so many misfortunes, do not contaminate my sacred waters with your wretched death, and do not approach those terrible sheep right now, for inflamed by the blaze of the scorching sun, they are in heat and subject to fits of furious rage, and with sharp horns and foreheads hard as stone, and even with poisoned bites, they hurl themselves against human beings and manage to kill them. While the sun has not yet mitigated its heat, and the beasts rest in the calm of the river breeze, you rest beneath that great plane tree that drinks from the same current as myself. When then the sheep, their rage calmed, become tame, you, by shaking the branches of the forest nearby, will find caught in the tangled boughs the tufts of golden fleece."
In this way, that simple and humble reed taught the way of salvation to the most wretched Psyche, and she did not delay in obeying, putting into practice with every care those counsels of which she certainly would not repent. Indeed, she executed them in every detail, so that the theft was easy. And she brought to Venus her lap full of blonde and soft golden wool.